When people imagine Amazon warriors, they picture a mythical, all-female society living apart from men, cutting off their breasts to shoot arrows better, and ruling a mysterious kingdom somewhere in ancient Greece. Hollywood has given us Wonder Woman with her golden lasso and superhuman powers. The reality behind the Amazon legend was simultaneously less fantastical and more remarkable. The women who inspired these myths were Scythian nomads who lived on the Eurasian steppes from roughly 700 BCE to 500 CE. They were real horsewomen who fought alongside men, hunted, herded livestock, and defended their tribes with deadly efficiency. Let's examine what a typical day looked like for a Scythian warrior woman living on the steppes north of the Black Sea around 400 BCE. A Scythian woman's day began at dawn, not in a permanent settlement, but in a felt-covered wagon that served as her mobile home. The Scythians were nomadic pastoralists who moved constantly across the vast grasslands of the Eurasian steppe, following seasonal patterns to find fresh pasture for their herds. These wagons could be large and elaborate, with multiple rooms, richly decorated with colorful textiles. When multiple families traveled together, the convoy resembled a moving city. The morning routine centered on the animals. Scythian herds consisted of roughly 40% horses, 40% cattle, and 18% sheep. Horses were particularly crucial, not just for riding and warfare, but as a food source. The Scythians drank fermented mare's milk called kumis, a mildly alcoholic beverage that provided nutrition and hydration. Women and men both participated in tending the herds. Archaeological evidence makes clear that Scythian women were active participants in herding, hunting, and defending the livestock. Breakfast was simple but protein-rich. The Scythian diet relied heavily on meat from their herds, mutton, beef, and, when available, wild game. They also consumed dairy products including cheese and fermented mare's milk. The nomadic lifestyle meant food preservation was essential, so smoked and dried meats were common. Their high-protein, high-fat diet suited the physical demands of their lifestyle and the harsh climate of the steppes. Around midday, when the herds were settled and grazing, Scythian women engaged in the activities that made them legendary: horseback riding and archery. The key to understanding Scythian warrior women is recognizing that their martial skills weren't exceptional within their culture. They were normal. Scythian society was egalitarian by necessity. When your community consists of perhaps a few hundred people moving across open grasslands with valuable livestock, you can't afford to have half your population sitting on the sidelines during raids or attacks. Girls learned to ride almost as soon as they could walk. By adolescence, Scythian women were skilled riders capable of controlling horses at full gallop while shooting composite bows with deadly accuracy. The Scythian composite bow was curved, powerful, and designed for use on horseback. A trained archer could fire arrows in any direction while riding at speed, making Scythian cavalry, both male and female, nearly impossible to defeat in open terrain. Archaeological evidence confirms that Scythian women weren't just trained for defense, they actively fought. Between 20 and 33% of warrior graves excavated across the Eurasian steppes contain female skeletons buried with weapons, horses, and battle gear identical to those buried with men. These aren't ceremonial weapons. The skeletal remains show battle injuries, healed fractures from falls, blunt force trauma to skulls, embedded arrowheads, slashed ribs from sword wounds, and hand fractures from blocking blows. One 13-year-old girl discovered in Siberia was buried with an axe, a birch bow, and 10 arrows. Women ranging from teenagers to those in their 40s were interred as honored warriors. The afternoon brought different work. Despite their reputation as fierce warriors, Scythian women spent much of their time on activities that kept nomadic life functioning. Hemp cultivation was crucial. Women used hemp fibers to create rope, textiles for clothing, and, importantly, lassos. The lasso was actually a Scythian weapon. On horseback, a properly thrown lasso could incapacitate an enemy instantly, using the horse's strength to pull them from their mount and drag them. Scythian women also worked leather into clothing, boots, and various household items. Their clothing was both functional and elaborately decorated. Scythian garments were brightly dyed and embroidered with complex patterns. Women wore trousers, a practical innovation for horseback riding, along with tunics, leather boots, and fur-lined coats. Gold jewelry was common, featuring intricate animal motifs. Both men and women adorned themselves with gold earrings, necklaces, and bracelets. Tattooing was widespread. Frozen mummies preserved in Siberian permafrost reveal that Scythian women were heavily tattooed with animals and geometric designs. The famous Ice Princess, a Scythian woman whose 2,500-year-old mummified remains were discovered in the Altai Mountains, bore elaborate tattoos of deer across her shoulders and arms. As evening approached, families gathered around fires. According to Herodotus and confirmed by archaeological discoveries, the Scythians regularly used cannabis. Every Scythian burial, male and female, includes a personal hemp-smoking kit, a small brazier for burning plant material, and often cannabis seeds or residue. Herodotus describes Scythians throwing cannabis onto fires, becoming intoxicated from the smoke, then dancing and singing with joy. This wasn't recreational drug use in the modern sense. Cannabis likely served multiple purposes. It provided pain relief for a people who suffered frequent injuries from falls, combat, and the physical demands of nomadic life. The Ice Princess was buried with cannabis and a burning kit, and modern analysis revealed she suffered from breast cancer. Researchers speculate she used cannabis to treat her condition. The plant also played a social and possibly spiritual role, creating communal bonding experiences during evening gatherings. Meals in the evening were communal affairs. Extended families ate together, sharing meat roasted over fires. Storytelling and music were important parts of Scythian culture. These evening gatherings maintained tribal cohesion and passed down oral traditions, since the Scythians had no written language. So, what was daily life actually like for a Scythian warrior woman? It was physically demanding, requiring constant mobility, hard work with animals, and readiness for violence. But it was also a life of remarkable freedom and equality compared to women in settled civilizations. Scythian women weren't warriors despite being female. They were warriors because their nomadic lifestyle required everyone to contribute to defense and survival. The Greek fascination with Scythian women makes sense when you understand how different they were from Greek women. In Athens, respectable women stayed indoors, spoke to few men outside their families, and had no political rights. Scythian women rode horses, hunted, fought in battles, and participated fully in tribal decision-making. To Greeks encountering them through trade or warfare, these women seemed almost supernatural, hence the myths of Amazons. The myths got almost everything wrong. Scythian women didn't cut off their breasts. That's a false etymology based on a misunderstanding of the word Amazon. They didn't live in all-female societies. Archaeological evidence shows Scythian communities included men, women, and children living together. They didn't kill male children. What they did do was live as mounted warriors who could fight as effectively as men, which to ancient Greeks seemed impossible enough to require mythological explanation. Modern discoveries continue to reveal more Scythian warrior women. In 2019, archaeologists found a burial mound containing 4 generations of Scythian women warriors, ranging from age 13 to late 40s, all buried with weapons and horses. More than 300 female warrior burials have been identified across the steppes. These weren't exceptions. They were normal members of Scythian society who happened to be women. Understanding Scythian warrior women means recognizing that gender roles aren't universal constants, but cultural constructions shaped by environment and necessity. On the Eurasian steppes, where survival depended on mobility and military readiness, excluding half the population from essential skills made no sense. Scythian women warriors weren't rebelling against their society. They were fulfilling their expected roles within it. The Amazon myth endures because it captures something compelling: the idea that women can be warriors without ceasing to be women. The Scythians understood this 2,500 years ago. Modern archaeology is finally confirming what they always knew. That's the unvarnished truth about Amazon warrior women. Drop a comment with another historical figure or period you'd like demystified. Subscribe for more reality checks about how people actually lived throughout history.